Hello and welcome back to the channel. We're here with another episode of Haikyu, episode 14. The preliminaries continue. Last time on Haikyu, we faced off against the literal giant, the little giant versus the the actual giant in the last match. We came out victorious. Wasn't an easy match, but it definitely put some things in perspective as far as how far our team has come. When the match first began, I fully expected, them to, be taken aback by the height and how they were being blocked and maybe panic a little and make some mistakes. But no, they were calm, cool, and collected. They analyzed, assessed what was happening, and devised a strategy to take down the giant, and that's what happened. So it was a pretty good match. But I thinking about it, and I think Coach Yukai mentioned it. He said, next year this guy's gonna be scary, and that's my thought, because he's only been playing for 6 months. But again, I mean, he's just utilizing his height here. So when you think about it, he's not all that an impressive player, really. He's just able to utilize his natural gifts. But when he does master the foundations and the basics and techniques and so on, he's definitely going to be something to be reckoned with. And I said in the last reaction, damn it, Hinata, why do you keep motivating all these strong players on the opposing team? And that is what is happening. When the match first started, the giant, the 2-meter player, the giant, he was not really into the game. But the mere fact that someone who was so much smaller than he was getting past him and scoring points, that got him. I got him revved up, and he was getting into the game, and instead of getting tired, he was pushing through and scoring points. So we came out victorious nonetheless. But I can't wait to see what the matchup against this particular player will actually look like in the future. Although I imagine we will have gotten plenty strong by then as well. At the end of the match point was scored by Hinata, and it was, I think old man Yukai called it a wipe, where he clipped the player's finger with the ball. And he scored the winning point. He hasn't used it since he did it by accident while training with Bakuto, so I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was going to be a rebound, but no. But as I mentioned, I'm glad to see Hinata stepping up his game, and hopefully we'll see more of this from him, because that's what I want to see from Hinata. That's where I want to see the player go, being able to battle on his own in midair. So yeah, let's check it out.
14日から仕事だから、あさってには仙
Suki's
台に
brother, right? Yeah.
K の試合見に行かなくてよかったの？
昨日行こうかなって言ったらすげえ嫌な顔されたし。
So, does their mom know about what happened between the two now? I would think, but
相手はどん
who
な
knows?
2メートル。はい。1年で201センチがいたよ。200? 勝ったのかよ。まだバレー始めたばっかりみたいだったし。
At least they're speaking,
お前さ、うちのチームの練習。
This is what I wanted. He can learn a lot from his brother, despite what happened. Okay. They have some time before the next match. Go. Who's this? Oh. What's in the disguise? Exactly, so just walk in. I don't think they'll have a problem with him just going to watch a practice match.
どの学校でも放課後に一番目立たないためには普通の運動部っぽい格好が良いのでは
Just act normal. Who is he checking out? Is it Wishiwaka or is it Seijo? I mean, Shirato Izara or Seijo? Yeah, don't look so suspicious. That sounds like Seijo.
なあ、月島だったら牛若止められるか？
Oh.
無理でしょ。全国トップ3のエースなんてまぐれならまだし。
at least try Tsukishima. I think he will. You know, I think there was some foreshadowing with his brother asking him to play with him. You're definitely going to help him a lot, and I think he may actually be, you know, he could be the one to stop Ushiwaka.
自分で言うのはともかく他人に無理って言われると腹立つよね。君は特に
I'm gonna do it just because you told me. That real pressure point. Now he's interested.
どうだったよ。
俺は一生及川さんに勝てないかもしれない。
So it was Seijo.
俺が行った時には一区切りついてて、休憩中にメンバーを変えた違う試合が始まった。
You're playing college, a college school.
よろしくお願いします。
大学生の中に及川さんがセッターとして一人で入った。
Ah. He was able to make the other team better despite just meeting them.
ほんの数プレーで及川さんは完全にチームに溶け込んだ。
Yeah. So that means to be the best setter.
俺にも分かった。誰からもどんな奴からも 100% を引き出すなんて。
I mean, I think Kageyama at some point would be able to get to that level, though.
そのすげえ大王様に改めてビビっちゃったのかよ、影
I
山
think
君は。
that's why he's the great king. Something for you to strive to surpass, you know? Alright, now we're talking. Although in the back of my mind, I'm rooting for Oikawa as a setter because I want him to have that victory at least once. I don't know if he's gonna get it, but I'm hopeful. It's good practice to go up against Ushiwaka. All it takes is an insult. He needs that sometimes, I think. Why is that what stuck to him? Everything that Bakuto said, the part he remembers is, maybe you just suck.
自分より圧倒的に上の相手のスパイクを
Showing
止め
interest.
る方法はあるんですか？
He's shocked. Or is this Nekoma's guy? Oh, no. Okay, it's Seijo.
久しぶり。待ってて
Who's
よ。
that then?
おかえり、狂
Mad
犬ちゃん。
dog. Interesting. Certainly looks the part. Is this a new player?
中学の時結構有名だっただろう。
ああ、いました。確かに。
南さん中あの代だけ
Oh, of
強かっ
course
た
he
んです
dyed
ね
his hair. Guess he's the Dennis Rodman of the team?
いきなり当時の3年と衝突してさ。言うことはともかく言い方がな。
ネットからトス離れすぎて打ちづれっすよ。今のフォローできたらよ、下手くそ。
Well, he earned his name. So it seems very volatile and
イン
uncontrollable.
ターハイ予選で負けて、もう引退したかと思った。
And pissing everyone off.
相変わらず強
I can see Iwa kicking his ass. I mean,
10月の代表決定
alright,
戦まで
so
の間、
Seijo's
関東
getting
へ
a
練
new
習試
team
合に
member.
来られるのは
This should be
今回も
good.
含め都合2回ほどです。貴重なチャンス、有意義に使いましょう。
Wait, where are we going?
ツキー。早
Oh,
速ブロック飛んで
okay.
ね。
Bakuto! Another practice, camp, I guess. Okay. I thought that was it before, you know, the tournament went into full
お願
swing.
いします。自
He's
自分で
changed.
頼んどいて何びっくりしてるんですか。
Makoto is someone good to practice with. His spikes are pretty strong. If he's that good, then it's good practice
ブロックで
to
一
lead
番
up
重
to
要なことっ
Ishwaka.
て何だと思う？
高さですか。
タイミングだ。極端な話、最低限手のひらがネットから出ていれば小学生だって田中のスパイクを止められる。
Why me as an example? If you jump too early, you know, before the spike, you're less likely to block it.
なるほど、うまくね。
If you jump too late,
個人のセンスとか
likewise.
ブロックの司令塔として身近で優れてるのはやっぱり猫間の苦労あたりかな。
Okay, interesting. As much as we've seen,
相手が打ち下ろしてくる瞬間、ブロックはてっぺんに差し掛かる。
as much as we've seen this guy on Nekoma's team, he's never been spotlighted really as being like very good at this one thing. Alright. Suki's getting interesting, you know? He's finally taking an interest in the game. I'm liking
成
that.
功率はまだ7割ほどでしょうか。
こればっかりは反復練習しかねえな。
I don't see the other schools. So is it just Nekoma and Bakuto school? I forget their name. Practice, practice, practice. Ugh. Fingers got messed up. See, that's what I would hate about having to be, you know, having to block. Wipe again? No? I think he was trying to. Thought he was trying to do another wipe and missed.
すいません。
ふぅいよいよ油断ならない感じになってきたな。
Alright. I'll see you in the tournament.
ゴミ捨て場の決戦、俺たちにはラストチャンスだ。東京体育館で会うぞ。お
I hope they both make it.
お前絶対後ろ側に勝ってこいよ。
なんでですか。
だって俺は今ツッキーに圧勝中だから。ツッキーが後ろ側に圧勝したら
So if you beat him, I beat you.
すいません。ちょっと。
Alright. Gotta block him this time.
トスはネットから。
Timing.
相手が打ち下ろしてくる瞬間にブロックに歓声を持ってくる。
Alright, got it. Nice. That's what he's been waiting for. That Bakuto, you know, Bakuto asked him, you know, that moment when you block the opponent completely. Just a few more days.
おお、来たー。仙台市体育館再び。
We're here.
絶対リベンジ。
Who are they up against next, though? I don't think I saw that or caught that last episode. I was wondering if it was you know, those two guys that were trying to get Kyoko's number. I know we're gonna be seeing them at some point. We have to. There's no way that was just pure coincidence. Yeah, there they are. Joe Senzi.
ってことはメガネちょ今日こそ番号教えてね
She already said no. Take a hint. Oh, okay. They already have a cutie on their team. Ah, that's it, tech. Seiju or Kawa. Alright, everyone's here. I don't think we got a close-up look at Shiratorizawa's team before. This is the first, I think. bathroom.
危険人物と遭
Yeah.
遇する場所で
There's no way he's getting in there without running into someone.
慎重に
I love how this is a thing now. Oikawa.
海王様と正常のエースの人
Yeah, he's getting recognition, you know?
このチビチビ、ほんと厄介だな。今のうちにどっか埋めちゃう。
Oh, another one.
日向翔也と追いかま
Alright, he's surrounded by giants. But take pride in knowing you're one of them, Hinata. Or getting there at least. Yeah, I really wanted Seijo to beat Ushiwaka, you know, if this is their last game, but, you know, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think they're gonna lose to Karasuno.
一触即発。
真ん中の誰？
あれだ。この前2メートル倒したカラスの10。
They only know him as number 10 now, though. Hopefully in the future they'll learn his name.
勝つのはカラスノで
誰だろうと受けてた。
Sorry, what's No Brow's name again? Ah, I keep forgetting his name.
おおどうもさ
With intense force. Alright, so they're not facing each other yet.
次は俺たちの番だ。そう。
Let's go!
さあここにいる
Josenji.
誰よりも遊ぶべ
Alright, they definitely need to keep that bit going. You know, every time Hinata goes to the bathroom, he runs into a very strong player. Yeah, that's just hilarious. We didn't have a lot in terms of a match this episode, you know, but just kind of catching up with the players and seeing, you know, what they're doing behind the scenes before or leading up to the actual tournament. Tsukishima, of course, being one of the highlights, you know. At the very beginning, starting out with his brother, who's invited him to play with, you know, the local team, and started getting to practice. I don't know if that's a foreshadowing to him maybe being the key to stopping Ushiwaka, because you know Hinata asked him, "Is there a way to do this?" And he's like, "No." But the mere fact that you're telling me I can't do it, then I'm going to do it. You know, but. So he's still Suki being Suki, but at the very least he's taking an interest in the game now, seeking out others to ask for advice on how to do this. So we finally get to see him, you know, get to that moment that Bakuto spoke about, you know, when they were having that discussion, for him to find his reason for playing volleyball that may come when they face, maybe it's Seijo, maybe it's Shirato Izawa, you know, so that will certainly be very interesting. You know, Kageyama at the start as well, visiting Seijo to kind of get some information on the school. Although I don't imagine I didn't think there would be much more for him to know about Seijo than he already knew, because he knew most of the players before they joined this school. But they have changed, so I guess there's something to that. You know, so I suppose it was worth, you know, doing some recon nonetheless. But he was on the same team with Oikawa as well. So I think he knows Seijo more than anyone else based on his history with everyone that's on the team. But he came to the realization that, you know, watching Oikawa play with this group of college students who he's never met beyond that day, and somehow, you know, being able to adjust or bring out 100% of those players' potential in that match in such a short space of time was something that he's just never been able to do. But, you know, and I suspect eventually, you know, that he will get to that point. But for the moment, you know, Oikawa is just that good. And yeah, Oikawa, as I mentioned before, he's my favorite character outside of Karasuno. Hinata, of course, is my favorite in Karasuno, but Oikawa, even being as good as he is, he's never been able to defeat Shirota Izawa. So it's an interesting dynamic because if all these players wanted to defeat Shirota Izawa, all they had to do was just come together, just go to the same school. It would have worked out so much better. If Oikawa went to Karasuno or Hinata went to join Seijo and so on. So they would all need to team up, it seems, to beat the one guy who's at the top. Interestingly enough, because Ushiwaka is not even the number one player, so what happens when they do beat him, and he's not the final boss that they thought he was, but it's still interesting to see. As I mentioned, I for Oikawa's sake, I really want him to win this, to at least beat Oikawa, and that at least once before, because from what they've said, this is their final, both him and Iwa, this is their last game. But I think the same is said for our players as well, as Daichi and so on. So I think our third years is their last game as well, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's one or the other. Either Karasuno takes the win or Seijo takes the win. And I don't think it's going to be Seijo because, they've already beat Karasuno once. So it's their time to take a loss. Unfortunately, which means Oikawa won't get his win. I'm curious to know what's going to happen thereafter, because I've grown attached to the character, and I like the school, the school. Maybe we'll get new characters, or, we did get a new character this episode. In Mad Dog. I don't know if he's a third year though. I don't think he's first year, because they mentioned that he was already on the team with some third years. So I imagine he's a second year. But in terms of what Seijo's future will be going forward, I'm curious to know about that. After Oikawa has left, after Iwa has left. And once the third years are gone, the teams themselves become significantly weaker, Karasuno has Hinata and Kageyama, who are pretty good in their own right. Tanaka, I think, is... I've already made that prediction for Tanaka, and I think Tanaka is going to be the next captain of the team. And Hinata will fill the role of the ace, and so on. I think later on down the line, after their match with Shirota Izawa, whether they win or lose. I think sometime in the future, that's what's going to happen. That's my prediction. I could be completely wrong, but that's my prediction. But outside of Oikawa, what does Seijo currently have? Or outside of Oikawa and Iwa, what does Seijo currently have? What will happen to the team once he and Iwa have left? I don't think the other players on the team impressed me all that much, where I could say, okay, they're going to be just as strong if those two leave. I just don't see it. But perhaps Mad Dog is the key to that, that unpredictable player that they've, that's a bit volatile, but is in his own right, he's a very skillful player from what I'm assuming, Okawa seems to have seen that potential in him. To the point of wanting to keep him on the team despite his behavior. So this may be something of an arc for Seijo as a whole, where Mad Dog gets his act together and starts to think about the team a bit more and becomes something of a leader for Seijo going forward. But what I like about this season so far is it's doing a lot of setting up for seasons to come. We saw that in the last episode with the 2-meter giant as well. The foreshadowing that, okay, he's not very good now. He just has the height now, but he will be very scary next year. So I think we'll see that school again next year with a new team, with him being a lot more of an experienced player than he was the last time. And then the team that we played prior to that match, with the bullies, call them that. The tough guys on the team whose captain came in to cheer them on. So I think we'll see them again once they start putting in more practice. So this season is doing a great job of setting up the future, the new blood, so to speak. We did catch up with Nekoma. I don't think I guess they have Lev Haiba. So yeah, so the season overall has been setting that up, with each team that we've encountered, each focal team that we've encountered. So even Nekama, who took on Left Hyper as well, you know, and their team spoke, their coach spoke about injecting new blood into the team as well, because what they've been doing so far, you know, isn't working. And, you know, as the third years leave, they have to consider that. So I think all these teams are going to make a return after this tournament is said and done. You know, I don't know who's going to be victorious. It's either going to be Karasuno or Shirato Izawa. I'm of two minds with that. You know, however it turns out, I think, as I've already said, I believe Karasuno has to beat Seijo. I think that's pretty done. You know, I think that's a done argument there. But I think Shirato Izawa needs to lose. I just don't feel as though Karasuno should be the team to beat them just yet. So I'm of two minds. I know Seijo is going to lose to Karasuno, but I can't think of any other school that could at this point beat Karasuno and then beat Shirato Izawa. I don't think it's going to be Daytech, even though we saw Hinata's encounter here. I don't think it's going to be Daytech because of the last match Karasuno had with them. So, you know, for us to beat them and then lose to them here, especially this being, you know, our third year's last match, it wouldn't make much sense plot-wise for them to lose to Daytech here. But I just don't feel as though Karasuno should already be good enough to beat a school like Shirato Izawa. At the same time, I still believe someone should beat them here, and I want that to be Seijo. But again, plot-wise, Seijo has to lose to Karasuno now. So I just don't think I'm gonna get what I want. Or maybe the writers will surprise me and give me something that I didn't know that I wanted to begin with, you know? But that's my feelings on it so far. As much progress as I've seen Karasuno make, you know, throughout the last and this season, I still don't think they should this quickly beat the number one school in their prefecture, you know? So you know, in my mind, I'm thinking that, because they're still learning all these new techniques and stuff that they've learned throughout the training camp, you know? They haven't perfected them. So for our school to just have these set of tools that they haven't perfected to go on to defeat the best school, I just don't feel as though they're quite there yet. But at the same time, I know to service the story, someone has to beat Shirato Izawa, and I don't think plot-wise it can be Seijo, because Seijo has to lose to Karasuno, and I don't think there's any other school there to beat them at this point. So it's very unlikely that I'm going to get what I want. But I'm looking forward to the matches nonetheless. I think, as I mentioned before, I think, you know, Shirato Izawa is going to be a force to be reckoned with. We got a glimpse of the full team in this episode, which I didn't think we've gotten before. It's always just been Orikawa being spotlighted. So it'll be interesting to see whether he is in fact carrying the school, much like we saw with the Giant before, which I doubt, you know, because I don't think Shirato Izawa has been winning as much as they have been just purely on, you know, his back. I think the entire team is actually pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle him and how they handle the entire team of Shirato Izawa as well. But I can't wait, guys. I can't wait. Things are really getting interesting. Our next matchup is against the Party School. I have no idea what that is supposed to mean. I guess they just like to have fun. I don't know how they would have made it this far purely on that premise alone. So this is going to be very, very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to it. All right, guys, be sure to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Remember to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.